Hi class, this is a quick demo of the dominant chords project. The first thing I'd like you to do is just listen to the first 8 bars and then pause the video and see if you can analyze what I did both with the chords and the melody, and then start the video again and you can check whether you got it right. Here we go. And so on. Okay, pause the video. Okay, we're back. Okay, so for chords, I used the tonic chord according to the instructions. I used a secondary dominant, 5/7 of 2. I resolved it in the typical deceptive resolution way, which is instead of having it go down a fifth, it goes down a half step as if it was a sub 5. So I went down a half step, and where did I land? I landed on a modal interchange major 7 chord, flat 6 major 7. This is what I recommend you do, is whenever the secondary dominant or sub 5 that you're choosing to resolve deceptively resolves, it should resolve to a modal interchange major 7 chord. So again, secondary dominant normally goes down a fifth. In our project, it's going down a half step. Then I used a chord of my choice. I decided to use a sus version of the 5 chord. Then I went to a diatonic chord. I chose 4 major 7. Then I went to a substitute dominant. This was 5/7 of 2. This is sub 5 of 2. And because it's resolving deceptively as if it was secondary dominant, it's going down a fifth, and it turns out it's landing on the same chord. So 5/7 of 2 resolving deceptively will land on A flat, down a half step on A flat, and sub 5 of 2 will end up landing on the same chord. Again, secondary dominant going down a half step, sub 5 going down a fifth. Always to modal interchange major 7 chords. There's many other chords I could have chosen, but that's the one I ended up with. And then I ended up with another modal interchange chord here, which happens to be flat 2 major 7. Okay, let's talk about the melody. I started with a motive from the previous page, or you could make up your own, and it's active in the first measure and long duration in the second measure. I started with this is my rhythm. I started with this interval pattern. Then what did I do here? Well, hopefully you figured out that I created a sequence, a melodic sequence of this, but I did alter one interval at the end. You can do that. I didn't keep, it was not a perfect sequence. It's majority of the notes are sequenced, and then this interval was adapted. That's called interval adaptation, interval expansion or contraction. Then I came down here, and I took the same motive again, but this time I did an inversion of it. So instead of going up a sixth, I went down. Actually, I didn't do a sixth, I did a fifth. So I basically, an inversion is when whatever the previous interval was, you go the opposite. So this is up, so I went down. This is down, so I went up. This is down, so I went up, and so on. And then you can either keep exactly the same intervals or adapt them. Now I could have gone down a sixth, and it was, as long as the note is available in the music, in the chord scale, you can do that. So this would sound a little different. I must like that better. Anyway, that's an inversion. Then I came over here and I did a retrograde. That's where you do the whole pattern, but you do it backwards. So whatever was last will be first. So the last thing was a quarter note rest. So that's now first. Then dotted half note tied to an eighth note, dotted half note tied to an eighth note, etc. So I created a backwards version of this, and I adapted the notes to work with this chord. So that's it. That's how I got this note. Am I 100% satisfied with this? No, I would probably work on it a bit more to get to make it sound even better to myself. But within about 5 minutes, I was able to do this much of the project. So that gives you hopefully a template of how to go about it. Start with chords, get your bass and chord voicings in, decide on a melodic motive, put it in, get it sounding good on the first 2 chords, then do some kind of manipulation of it for the next 2, manipulation, and you've got your A section. The B section has to be mostly dominant chords. So what I would recommend here is that you do 1 chord or 1-7 if you like, then go out to a special function dominant like say flat 3 or 4-7 or flat 6-7 or flat 7-7, then go back to the 1 chord again. Then go out to a different special function chord, then go back to the 1 chord, then out to a different special function chord, 7th chord. And then maybe in here you can create some kind of progression that will lead you back to the beginning. Okay, hopefully that'll help you get on the right track with this.